All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member, guys. Let's go and jump into it. Let's see where this takes us.
The death toll in Iran reportedly topping 3,000 since protests started 3 weeks ago.
Guys,
as the
these numbers are all
Ayatollah
over the
blames
place.
President Trump, threatening him from the bunker where he's reportedly been in hiding since the U.S. strikes last June.
We consider the U.S. president a criminal for the casualties, damages, and the slander he inflicted on the Iranian nation.
Got it.
President Trump saying enough is enough. Quote, it's time to look for new leadership in Iran. What he is guilty of as a leader of a country is the complete destruction of the country and the use of violence at levels never seen before. The leadership should focus on running his country properly, like I do with the United States, and not killing people by the thousands in order to keep control. Our next guest, Iranian activist and investor, has been advocating heavily for extended families still in Iran. Moj Madara joins us now. Moj, thank you for being here. I want to get to your take on, this war of words between President Trump and Ayatollah Khamenei. But first, you have extended family still in Iran. What are they telling you about the situation there?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me to this important conversation. It's important to bring awareness to what's happened. The numbers actually coming out this morning from Iran International are closer to 16 to 20,000 people have been killed, and we're talking about 250,000 plus people injured. We're talking about 1,000 people who have lost an eye. So right now, the Iranian people are facing a death sentence because they are here to change the regime, ask for democracy. They are asking for President Trump's support. They're asking for an intervention, not occupation. They're looking to the sky for American support. And so right now, what I think of what the president is saying to the supreme leader is that it's time to go. And I think he has the full support of the Iranian diaspora. And more importantly, he has the request and the support of the Iranian people who are essentially renaming streets inside Iran. You can see the streets being renamed President Trump. And so I think this leader has to go. He's toxic, not just for his own people, but for the region. And I think he has been a huge, huge thorn in the side of foreign policy for a very long time now.
Okay, so guys, I definitely want to hear her out before I gave my opinion on this here. I do like the idea that we're doing something, right? But I do not think that we kind of need to even go and be there personally, right? I do think that it'll be much more, I'd say, intelligent for the people that are kind of in that Gulf region specifically to be the ones who actually do the most effort, okay? If it is us doing anything, I would say I would probably cap our overall support large scale at roughly 20%. And that would not be anything that would put a single American life in danger for any of this stuff here. I do understand that they need help. And this is why I'm saying I think we can kind of like offer aid or something here, guys, but I'm not sure that we need to basically be seen as, for this to be seen as a U.S. orchestrated coup, guys.
Moj, this is really quite startling, and you're giving us really on-the-ground information. 16 to 20,000 is just unthinkable. Correct. And the fact that there are streets named for Trump really does talk about how those brave activists, which I have talked about, is remarkable because so many of them are too young to remember anything other than the life under the Islamic regime's brutal control. Where do you see this heading? Like, walk me through, Moj, the best case scenario and the worst case scenario of how this plays out.
My best case scenario is that our democracy, and Washington in particular, kicks out these lobby groups like NIAC and the Quincy Institute, and Shrita Parsi, who led the JCPOA, is no longer narrating how this goes in the region.
And guys, really quickly, JCPOA is going to be the Iranian nuclear deal. This would have been somewhere around, 2009 or so. And
President Trump leans into his instincts, supports an intervention, supports a regime change. Look, the important thing here is we're tipping power in the hands of the Iranian people themselves. We are doing what they want. We are supporting them because they need the help to tip the balance of power. What I would like is to get the Starlinks that are in the country. There's about 1,000 units. We need to get more. We need to get them activated and in the hands of activists. We need to support communication because, as you know, Huawei, the Chinese company, has supported a suppression. They have an intranet inside the country. So we're talking about If we do not support the Iranian people, I do want people to consider that for the past 2 decades, we've had the support of the Iranian people on knowing what's going on the ground because they've had access to communication. If they enter a Korea-style, North Korea-style intranet where they're shut out from the world, how will we know what's going on with a regime that's caused so much suffering all over the globe? How will we know?
You won't. Yeah, guys, she's dropping a lot of gems here, and I feel like I have to kind of stop because there are going to be people in the comments who are like, "What is she talking about?" So here's the thing. So obviously we have the internet, which is obviously open for the world to basically utilize. Everyone is for the most part, is on the top shelf for the most part of the World Wide Web. Let's just say this year. Then you have like a secondary intranet that basically works as a private internet that can be controlled massively, meaning that everyone may think, hey, listen, I'm on the internet. Not really. You're on a private network where people still have the ability to basically kind of watch what you're doing large scale, even more so than the internet, and be able to control what exactly is being let out of their view, if that makes any sense here. So now imagine here, if the Ayatollah has decided that he was going to shut off the internet, then also target anyone basically using any type of Starlink, if that makes any sense here, Starlink satellite internet. So now she's basically suggesting that more people need it, but more people are going to be at risk. Obviously, it would be amazing for everyone to basically utilize this so we can kind of see actually what's happening here for all of the things that are able to kind of bleed out of the intranet, if that makes any sense here, that they control. So now imagine if you are under this overall regime here. And all of this crazy stuff is happening, but you want to immediately suppress it. All you have to do is not allow the people to have access to any of these things, and then you can control the narrative by basically delivering all your propaganda kind of around the world almost in an immediate way, right? So, and the fact that China basically has stepped up Huawei and kind of set this up for them is absolutely despicable, bro. Okay, it's despicable.
That's certainly part of a worst case scenario.
Well, and then we have an amazing opportunity. We have the Crown Prince that the people are calling as a transitional leader. They are looking to his Iranian Prosperity Project as a transitional plan. It still needs some more input from other regional leaders in the provinces. We need to pull in the Kurdish leadership to help lead this through. But I think this is time, and I think the Gulf states want this. I think people in the region want this. And more importantly, the most important is we have an ally and a friend inside the country called 90 million people, Iranian people, who are begging, if we don't step in and help them, we are essentially saying, first of all, the regime is not that bad, and we're giving them a death sentence.
Moj,
I don't think we're saying that.
The uprising, the protests that we're seeing now, we haven't seen this since 2009. And then President Obama handled this very different than President Trump is. I want to get your reflection on that.
Well, I believe, and I've heard President Obama and Secretary Clinton say that this was a regret, that they did not support the Iranian people at that time. And I think President Trump, as commander-in-chief, has a different opportunity to make history, to make a new ally, to support the Iranian people, to not just do a good thing, but do a smart thing for our foreign policy.
Okay, guys, so what's interesting is that what they're referring to right now happened in 2009. This is the Green Movement. This is right around the time of the Iranian nuclear deal. And what's crazy is that even though Obama didn't want to do anything, because again, he really did not want, I think his excuse specifically was, he did not want it to look like, we were backing the idea of like regime replacement type of thing here. I think that was the overall standpoint. But then what was interesting, there was like a super crazy controversy around that time also, where he gave Iran $400 million for some like American prisoners. Understand this here. This is a very tricky time we were in here. But I do still wish that, if you guys knew what was happening specifically with the Green Movement in that entire region, let's just say this year, you probably should have backed them then. But I do also understand the idea of not making it look like America is there for the sole purpose of regime change, like everyone thinks we're doing. But I also at the same time, guys, I know we no longer really need to, how do I even say this nicely, guys? We no longer need to kind of play the middle guy anymore, bro. It's either we're going to live up to what basically all of these countries already think of us, right? Or we're not going to be any of these things. So I think we need to kind of decide on the image we're going to display to the public, kind of going forward after we basically are attempting to make entry into two massively oil-rich countries, guys.
And just lastly, in the few seconds I have, Moj, I do want to ask you, so we heard the President Trump, talk about potentially going so far as airstrikes, and then we saw the president pull back after the 800 executions were paused. But where do you see that heading? Do you think we could be looking at an actual airstrike of some sort?
Well, I believe the president means what he says. And I believe they're probably exploring strategic strikes or drones, and more importantly, collaborating with everyone in the region. So I think he's made a decision where, you know, it's up to him on when and how and what this looks like. But I think with a regime that continues to not just threaten him, but cause chaos across the region, undermine what the Gulf states want in terms of their Vision 2030, we won't have Vision 2030. We won't have a new reset region, and we will continue to have what we have, the suffering for the Palestinian people and a constant threat for the Israeli people if we don't find a way to regime change. And I think it's time that we sort of reset the balance there, support the Crown Prince, get rid of people like Trita Parsi who are in the administration. And I think, listen, we are the most sophisticated country in the world when it comes to technology. I think he can do this without harm. I think he can do this strategically, and he, most importantly, he has the support of the Iranian diaspora that's ready to invest back into the country. There's 8 million of us that are ready to reinvest, and I think he has 90 million people that have his back.
Moj, our thoughts and prayers are with you, and of course your extended.
Not the thoughts and prayers. Hold on, guys. It's like, listen, you ruined it, sir. All right, that's a meme now. Don't say that again out loud on the internet. All right, but here's the thing. Listen, I fully suspect that there are going to be people kind of in the United States of America that are of Iranian descent that are like, yeah, guys, you need to go ahead and do these things. But now, I am a staunch advocate specifically of not losing American life in these foreign things that are really truthfully not affecting our day to day. Not us on the mainland. Now, to understand this here, they do make constant and consistent threats towards the military. That is not a thing that we ever need to stand for, let's just say this year. But I'm still trying to let you guys know immediately. I don't like the idea of American lives, ever under any circumstances being lost over things that are not moving the needle for the overall common typical American citizen living within America. Let's just be honest here. Now, the fact that the Gulf states are kind of stepping up here or making an attempt to step up here, I do understand that there definitely needs to be like a serious collaboration. Because again, guys, if we're going to be working on the Monroe Doctrine and basically standing on the Monroe Doctrine, what does this have to do with us? If that makes any sense here. So we can't live in two realms, or unless the end goal is just world domination, right? And that is not the best thing in the world, because we don't want to be in a lot of places technically that we would like to dominate, if that makes any sense here, right? Do we specifically need to insert whatever random country that has oil, around the world? Do we want to give their entire citizenry, let's say this year, American citizenship immediately because we've now conquered them and they're now like our? No, we don't want to do that in a lot of these places. So we need to kind of come to terms with allowing the states that are surrounding, the Gulf states specifically, that are surrounding Iran to do 80% of the legwork. Okay, listen, I saw how strategically crazy the whole Venezuela thing was, bro. I saw that. All right. So that stands out to me as one thing, right? We can technically do it without loss of life. I know we can, right? But why risk our guys, bro? Okay. That's my opinion. I'm gonna stand on that completely. An airstrike, that doesn't really affect us, if that makes any sense here, right? It affects them, but it doesn't really affect us, right? So again, strategically targeted things without loss of American life and minimum financial investment, I'm down. And also, the Crown Prince is not even liked by any of the people in the area. Not really. No one will back him, right? So we can keep talking about him, right? For some reason, they love talking about him. Mainly Americans that are of Iranian descent. They love talking about this man, but the people in the region do not like him. So we need to move on, bro. All right, I'm just gonna be honest here. We just need to probably move on to something different, if there's an option for anything different. And let's not do the same thing we did in Venezuela by saying the regime is bad, the Ayatollah is bad, not understanding that the Ayatollah is basically just a puppet for the background organization. And then you say we're gonna get rid of the Ayatollah, and then someone else from, I don't know, the Ayatollah's vice president. I'm kind of throwing jabs at what's going on in Venezuela right now, but we can't say that that's a thing. Because if you want actual change, you need to get rid of the entire regime, not just pull someone else with a different face that learned all the tricks of the trade from the big bad guy. All right, okay, because there's a lot of confusing things happening around the world right now geopolitically, and I'm here for it. All right, I'm gonna give you my opinion on it, but. Let's see where this goes. Okay, that's all I can say here. What I'm seeing right now is absolutely atrocious, and I'm sure anyone would basically say that. But I also can't imagine who would take over because, again, the crown prince is not, he's not the one for the region. Like specifically, if you want like them to have like solid allies and things like that, because there's really nothing Iranian about that man except for, his bloodline. If that makes any sense here, you're gonna need someone that has been there, not someone who's exiled. My opinion. But listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, I'll catch you guys later. Oh, guys, I forgot one more thing. I live stream all the time, guys, right? Like, hang out with me. This one here is not a live stream video, but generally when I upload videos, they're normally like live streams. So, guys, I live stream all the time. I'm on Twitch, guys. Check the description if you guys want to hang out with me sometimes. Generally, somewhere between 4:30, 4:40 or so Eastern Standard Time. All right? Catch you guys later. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies. And I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings. And we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry, right? Listen, like and subscribe.